Good evening, everybody. This is Garrett with the Lawton Town Crier, and welcome to a special Sunday edition of the Lawton Town Crier, your weekly, podcast about what's going on in Lawton. Tonight, I talked to y'all earlier tonight saying that we're going to do a question and answer session. So, with that being said, let's wait for a few people to get online. If you have a question, please go ahead and send me a message or a comment. I can look at those. We are live streaming both on YouTube and on Facebook. So if you are on either one of those, I will be watching for those two places. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and move over to the Town Crier's Facebook page real quick so that I can start sharing some things. So let's go to that's not what I want to do. Okay. Okay, so I think we've shared this. We should have some people who are watching. Okay, so let's go ahead and mute this. So if you have questions you want answered, we can go ahead and take those now. Go ahead and do that. Apparently, you can also send me stars if you'd like, which is really good. So the first thing we're going to talk about this evening is what is going on in Lawton. Tomorrow night, we have a Lawton City Council meeting, and one of the things that is going on tomorrow night has to do with Firehawk. And one of the things that I think that people forget about Firehawk is the amount of money that's going to be used for that. And I think that that's going to be something that we are going to look at. So let me see if I can switch over to the city council agenda real quick. I'm going to, and again, part of this is we are testing how to do some of this. So browser, I want to, no, I don't want to do that. I want to share my screen. It looks like, hold on, we got, so I don't want that. I want this to go back to this. Yes, okay, so I want to, okay, I can do it like this. This could be, that's good. And again, we are still learning how to do some of this, so bear with me. Window. And we're going to look at okay, so let's go over here to Google Chrome, and I want to go here. Here we go. discuss a little further. But yeah, that agenda packet's kind of an important thing on there. So let's see if there's any questions right now that I can address. Let me get up here and go. No questions. I don't see anything in the comments. If you are here, if you could send me a little message and let me know if you are on YouTube or on Facebook. I'm trying to make sure I have my messaging correct, but I may or may not. I'm still learning how to do this software, so let's keep it rolling. And let's go back to the agenda. And again, I'm still learning how to do this, so hold on just a second. Let's see. Media. Let's go to phone. Let's go to copy. Paste. Okay. Still learning how to do some of this, so hold on. Okay. Properties. Save. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, I see what we did. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. And can everybody see everything okay? I'm trying to get it to where I can do a few other things real quick. Let's transition back here. So that's kind of what we're looking at for tomorrow night. Kind of an interesting thing that we can all... Oh, no sound. No sound on Facebook. Let me figure out why we don't have any sound. Let's see. Testing. Testing. Can anybody hear me now? Can we hear me? Hear me? Hello? We're testing. Hopefully we have some sound. I'm trying to see. Testing. I'm testing. Testing. Are we good on sound? We're looking for some feedback on sound. If you hear me on Facebook, can you make a comment? When you're showing with the minutes, were you talking about there was no sound? Okay, so no sound. Okay, so do we have sound now? Do we have sound now? Let's see. Testing. Testing. I think we should have sound. Let's go back real quick and try that again. Position. Testing. I'm still trying to test. Again, this is the reason why we do this, is so we test. Testing. Testing. I'm still trying to test. Again, this is the reason why we do this, is so we test. Testing. Testing. I'm still trying to test. Okay, so we're going to try this, switching back and forth. Okay, let's... Okay, so we're going to try this, switching back and forth. Can everybody hear me now? I've got Facebook comments up. Okay. Can everybody hear me now? I've got Facebook comments up. Okay. Still no sound. Can everybody hear me now? I've got Facebook comments up. Okay. Still no sound. Okay, so we should have sound. I think we have sound. I hear sound on my phone. Okay, so okay. Brent, if you're still... Oh, it's... Okay, echoing. Okay. Okay. There we go. The echoing is because I was listening to my phone and it was coming through. So I got the phone turned off now. So the sound should be working. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so let's just go ahead and recap up here. I'm going to just go back to the top real quick and just recap really fast. It won't take me but just a second. We have 4 entities we're talking about tonight: the Lawton Industrial Development Authority, the Lawton Economic Development Authority, the City of Lawton, the Comanche County Industrial Development Authority are the four different entities that we're talking about tonight. And so that is going to be for tomorrow's special city council meeting. We are talking about an $8 million loan to do construction. It's going to be for LEDA, L-E-D-A. And from what I can tell, based on the documents that have been produced, and these are publicly available, this is to get the construction started until the grant money comes in to repay the loan, which is what I understand from my reading of this. And one of the things it says that here is Lawton Industrial Development Authority is a public trust for use and benefit of the city, and obligations incurred by LEDA in connection with the project or related financing shall be obligations of LEDA alone and shall not constitute a debt, liability, or obligation of the city or a pledge of the city's credit or taxing power. So those are some things that we were looking at with this. Be it resolved, let's see, where were we going with this? Again, this $8 million comes up. The Lawton Industrial Development Authority, let's see, approves and authorizing the incurring of the indebtedness by the Lawton Industrial Development Authority for a maximum aggregate of $8 million. That's $8 million. And again, this is something that's, if we look back at what's going on recently, one of the things it talks about here in this document, which is publicly available, you can go to the lawtonok.gov and click on agenda packets and notices and get this information, that this is to... It's in the interest of the city and its citizens and affecting taxing jurisdiction. Okay, this is the STEADY project plan. And this is designed to help improve the local economic development. And this is kind of an interesting document. So this is, with this particular bond, it's saying it's going to waive the competitive bidding process. And authorize the mayor or mayor pro tem to approve, finalize, and execute the modify and deliver necessary appropriate documents. So that's kind of what is standard here. One other thing I want to kind of point out. Let's see if I can highlight that. This is the Lawton Economic Development Authority. I'm going to try to highlight the different authorities. This one's that one's the Lawton Economic Development Authority, and then I'm going to highlight the Comanche County Development Authority, and then that way y'all can kind of see those. Of course, here's Firehawk right here. So you see all the entities that we're talking about in this document. So we're going to call Firehawk right here. And then that's kind of an important thing. And then again, like here's the STEADY project. Let's go ahead and make that green so we can stick that out. Implementation of the STEADY project plan will further the public purpose of the Oklahoma Local Development Act by promoting economic development within the city, stimulating private capital investment, expanding employment opportunities, and strengthening the tax base, and facilitating development that might otherwise be difficult or unlikely to occur without the economic development tools authorized under the STEADY project plan. So this is important because the city council recently has been talking about raising fees and raising the water bill because of, not having enough money. And what this project is this is the city looking at trying to stimulate the local economy by strengthening the tax base. So this is where that comes from. Now here it tells you a little bit about Firehawk. Firehawk is a Delaware corporation, a defense technology company specializing in advanced rocket propulsion systems. Let me change that to where it's a little easier to read instead of that bright red. Okay, and people talk about bringing things in here. They're talking about bringing in like 100 jobs, which is really huge for our economy. We've got major employers through Goodyear and Republic Paper. Another 100 technical jobs brings in a lot. But it's important we look at this because recently, if you think back, we just recently saw some things with Westwind. So we're spending real money here. $8 million is not anything to look at. And we have a 320-acre land purchase, okay, which is also important. So let me... So that 320-acre land purchase is kind of important for us to think about for just a minute because that's quite a bit. Now, on the far left-hand side, if you remember back to that map I showed you, even though we had some audio issues, there's a 1,000-foot buffer between the neighborhood and where Firehawk's going to be doing their work. So that land is not going to be used for any development. It's there to keep the sound down and to provide that buffer between what is a residential area and an industrial area. There have been a lot of discussions about different uses of industrial area. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Annette. How are y'all doing? And one of the things I think it's important we look at is people have been complaining and talking about data centers and talking about the noise. One of the things that we need to consider is those buffer areas, how effective are they going to be? So those are things that we need to look at. Anyway, this is going to be on tomorrow's city council meeting. That's going to be a special city council meeting, and that's going to be at 6:30 at the Wayne Gilley Auditorium in City Hall. Of course, I'll be there, of course, and that is something that we are going to look at. Now, I promised you a few minutes ago that I was going to take you through some of my stories that I covered this last week. And so let's go ahead and do that right now. So over here, if you go to LawtontownCrier.com, you have stories, and let me see if I can bring this up a little bit. I'm going to make it a little easier to see. Okay, first up is Lawton unveils its Draft 1 Lawton policy. Residents push back on what future land use is. I'm going to go ahead and click that. If you take a look at this story, what you have is, let me get my picture out of the way. I don't need to be on here too much. What this is right here is this is talking about on March 23rd, there was an open house talking about the land use plan. I had previously written about the plan here. This is the Sunday evening crier from last Sunday that we talked about it. And then here is the presentation, what was focused on. This is a live stream of the town hall. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, I encourage you to go look at it. City staff talked a lot about it. And I still have some open records requests out that have not been acted on yet. So I put in some open records requests on that. Now let's go back up here to the other story that I promised y'all that I released last week, talking about the water rates and sewer rates. Again, last week, City Council on item 22, they waived portions of the budget policy, meaning that the April 1st preliminary budget deadline was not going to be met. And I spoke with City Manager John Ratliff about part of this. So this is kind of an important thing I want you all to think about is that there was agenda item 22. Again, I showed y'all on the last screen about how I was able to pull up that document, and I found item 22 was in the consent agenda. I had reached out to the city manager's office to get some comment, and he said that basically he was not able to get the preliminary budget done by the April 1st deadline, and that under state law he really didn't have to have the budget submitted to the state until much later. April 1 is the goal, but he was running into some issues, and if you paid attention to the last city council meeting last Tuesday, some of those issues had to do with funding. And then also in that same council policy, it talked about circuit breaker increases in certain funding. And he said that because of the way that some of the funding had been done, that needs to change, and that type of funding doesn't need to be included anymore. There was some discussion with the Water Authority about potential rate increases. The discussion talked about increasing $5 more for water and $10 more for sewer. That is something that I think is kind of important for us to look about. And then, are we charging enough on our system? So there's been a lot of issues long going with our sewer system going back to the early 2000s. I looked up some of the budgets. Sewer rehab has been in place for a while, going on 20 years, if not a little longer, where the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality, or ODEQ, sent a consent order telling the city of Lawton that they needed to make some fixes to the city of Lawton's water and sewer, mainly the sewer, from what I understand. If you notice recently, water, the city has been dealing with trying to get information out about lead pipes in the home and trying to get information. They had requested people to call in and let the city know about lead pipes, and they sent out a bunch of notices. So important. And this is important going forward too, because this type of infrastructure is something that we're going to continue to see repairs. Once infrastructure is in ground, you've got to maintain it, and there's always going to be that expense and cost. The sewer lines that we have now, they're not going to last forever. Sadly, we see the Roman aqueducts in Europe last a really long time, but even those, as well as they're engineered, got replaced by other things for other reasons. And even pipes that we have in the ground now. We're in Oklahoma, summers come, we have shifting or dirt, things break, new materials come out, better ways of doing things, safer ways of doing things. The Romans, like I mentioned, I have a degree in history, so I always think of historical and classical references, but Romans used lead pipes. It's kind of dangerous. If that's all you got, that's what you got. But anyway, so right now we've been on for a little bit. Are there any questions? If you'll post those into the chat section, the comments, I would love to see any chats or anything like that. That way I can make sure that I get see. I'm adjusting my light some so I can see things. Is there any questions anybody has? Okay, well, so one of the things that I want to talk about real quick while I've got everybody here is we're going to continue doing the live streams for our daily bell ringers. Again, this is one of those things where we're touching on things and we're learning how to do things. Moving forward, I like to have things done in advance, but I think live stream gives us some opportunities to discuss things and me to respond to feedback. So that is something that I think is going to be important moving forward. So let me get right here. I'm going to look at the YouTube live stream, see if anybody is over there chatting and any messages. I do not see anybody on YouTube making any chats. So, yep, I don't see anybody. We're up here on YouTube, so that looks good. So, little other news that I'm following right now out of Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma City. The A3 Sentry AWACS was damaged in a strike by Iran and Saudi Arabia. This is important as we look at the tempo of what's going on globally and how it impacts us here in Oklahoma, specifically here at Fort Sill. Looking at Drudge report real quick, close this out. Oil opens the week up. If you've noticed in my daily bell ringers, I've also been talking about oil. So with that being said, we've been on for just a few minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and start closing out the broadcast tonight. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. I am sorry we had some audio issues earlier on, but I think we got those fixed, and I would like to take a moment to thank everybody who came in tonight. So with that being said, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and, you know, as I always say, I'll see you at City Hall. Y'all, if y'all want any more information, please email me, and I